Hey you guys, what's up? This is James here at Unique Perspectives. Thought I'd share a little story time this time. If you're not already, please like and subscribe. I'd love your support. And yeah, I'm actually doing a series of videos that I'm just kind of sharing, short videos with no notes, just kind of winging it. For the last 8 months, I'm gonna say, at least, I've been always having notes to go down when I'm talking about a topic. But today, I'm shooting a series of videos that I'm gonna be just putting out more frequently, just so the people out there that follow my stuff and enjoy my stuff. I've had some positive reviews with some cool people that enjoy what I like to say, so I just wanted to share. But I want to share a quick story time actually about a date I have. A date I had some years ago, and this is the first and only time I was ever catfished, I'm going to say. And some of you may or may not be familiar with that idea, but it's based on the concept of the TV show of Catfish, and there was a lot of people online that portrayed themselves to be one way, and on the show they actually had the people that were interacting with these mysterious people to meet them in person, and sometimes the people actually ended up being who it is that they say they are, and other people were not. You know, there were some guys that were fixated on these beautiful women online, and that would go to the place, you know, the place of location where this person lives with the TV host and find out that it was really a man pretending to be a woman. So yeah, I was catfished basically with the situation, and I was actually on the site Tagged. Some of you may be familiar with it, Tagged. I don't know if I would recommend it for anybody respectable. But I was on the site very frequently years ago when I was on all over social media and dating sites. And I met up with, met a lady online there, and I forgot her name, but I remember she had a lot of face photos, And to me, I thought she was a, decent looking lady. I noticed the lighting wasn't really good with a lot of her photos, but I talked on the phone with her. We actually exchanged numbers, and I thought it was really interesting how we sort of seemed to get along somewhat. And I kept asking, well, I didn't ask too much about her, how does she look, her body and all that kind of stuff. But I was curious to some extent. But what was interesting, and I'm just sharing this with you guys, what was interesting is that at the time I was going through this phase that I was convincing myself that to be more spiritual and enlightened, looks didn't matter. I was under this impression that looks didn't matter. And I went through this little phase for a while, actually. And it was like a few months, but I was telling people how vain people are and how superficial we are. And, guys just want the most beautiful woman, and women just want the tallest, richest guy. And a lot of us are materialistic. We need work. We have issues. So I was trying not to really push this, but I was curious with how this lady looked. And after about, some days of talking on the phone almost every night, I remember we actually decided that we were going to meet up in Los Angeles, and I think it was like at a Jack in the Box parking lot. And she said, she lived in Orange County, which is like, further out in California. And so we decided to meet up. And I was like, oh, snap, finally, that's cool. And I remember I was reading a dating book at the time. I forgot the author's name, but I remember the title. It was actually a book that was steered towards women, but I was reading it. And it said, I think it was Female Dating Book, 10 Reasons. Gosh, I have forgotten the title of the book. It was something in the nature of 10 reasons why you're damaging your relationships or something like that. Gosh, if I remember, I'm going to put it in the description, but let me get to the story. So I remember I had my 96 Explorer at the time, old car, it was working pretty good, and I was waiting for her in the parking lot, and I was very excited. I think we were talking for about a week, so I think like it was over the weekend I finally was, meeting up with her, and I was very excited because we were getting along fairly well on the phone, and we talked every night, and it wasn't like very long. It was maybe for an hour or two, but I didn't feel like I was in love, but I did think this was a great foundation to build on. But I will never forget, she showed up, and I could see why she had only face photos. I'll put it that way. She was very big, and when I mean big, it wasn't just obese. It was like she was big, like she was big enough to like play football type of big, and her hands were big, her shoulders were big, and she was like a little taller than me, maybe my height, and I'm 5'9", but she was a very big woman. And I remember for a brief moment, and I was younger at the time, so I'm a little immature, but I briefly thought about, this lady doesn't know how my car looks. I could drive away, I could leave and pretend something came up. But then I was thinking to myself, you know what, because I was still kind of in my early Christian phase, the earlier, so I was feeling convicted with always keeping my word and stuff like that. But I remember I briefly thought about leaving, but I decided to stay. And I said, you know what? I promised we're gonna have a date, so we're gonna have a date. And we went through with the date. And, you know, she was telling me on the phone for a week how great she was, a great conversationalist. But when I was hanging out with her, I had to initiate the conversation the entire time. And although I like to talk, I like to express myself, it was exhausting. It was exhausting because she wasn't really helping me. And it really didn't help that I wasn't physically attracted to her at all. And so I just knew very early in the interaction that I was not going to date her or anything. I was not going to meet up with her anymore. And, you know, she was a lady that, you know, she was actually very nice, but I could tell immature. You know, she was accustomed to guys you know, probably interacting with her and just wanted to have sex, but no one wanted to actually be with her, you know. And I think sometimes it's very difficult for some ladies to be able to differentiate situations like that. So I thought that was interesting. We did go get some food. I think it was at Jack in the Box. We just kind of did something there. She wasn't too hungry. And then I think we went to the Del Amo Mall in Torrance, and we went to the movie theater there, I believe, and seen a movie. And it was really nice. It was really cool. And I remember we just yeah, that was pretty much it. She asked me to actually drop her off at a bus stop because she was supposed to be going to somebody else's house, and I was like, okay, I guess. But what was interesting is that later on, I checked in with her maybe a week after because I didn't have that much of a desire to interact with her, and I think she may have felt that I wasn't interested in her romantically. Yeah, she told me she actually found out she was pregnant by some other guy she was dealing with, but he sort of abandoned her because now he didn't want to be a father, and that was pretty much the end of it. And I just thought that was very interesting. And I guess what I really want to emphasize before I end this video is that during that encounter with this lady, I learned firsthand looks does matter. It does matter. It doesn't have to be the predominant reason why you're with somebody, but there has to be some attraction in order for us to move forward. Now, I know some people have different places on the spectrum. Some people just want companionship and they don't care how the person looks. Some people don't care if the person's old, young, whatever. But I can see for a healthy, normal, typical man, we have to be attracted to the woman, and I could see that there is a significance with that. So very fascinating. But yeah, that's when I was catfished. It was a very interesting encounter. Very interesting. And I was very confused that she was impregnated by someone, but then they just sort of abandoned her. So I thought that was interesting. But thought I would share that little story time with you guys. God bless you guys. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.